The fastest growing baseball program in America has a chance to hurdle another milestone against a really good LSU team. Are they on Upset City? Is there a code red in Baton Rouge? Uh, uh, uh.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Is up, guys? Welcome back into the Locked On West Virginia baseball channel. Wow. Didn't think you'd hear that today, did you? Well, thanks for coming in, guys. I appreciate it. As we jump into another action-packed show, this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Monarch Money. You know, when it comes to Monarch Money, you can take control of your finances with Monarch Money, but you have to use code Locked On College at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your very first year. Make sure you do that. And thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We talk about your team every single day. Say hello to the moderators in chat. Welcome in Randall, by the way, the LSU fan. It's all smack talk, man. Don't take it personal. Welcome in. Any LSU fan is welcome in. I consider this to be a friendly thing, so it's not Pitt, right? So we're good. Welcome. Hey, Raven, Shaq, thank you for being here so late. Okay, guys, so let's jump right into this. I'm excited. Obviously, our baseball team could make history versus LSU in a game that's not going to be easy to win. We know that. We've got some football news and notes, and we're going to watch one dog if we have time. William Davis. I got some new tape on the kid that had just an incredible stat line in his career already at Virginia Union. 126 tackles, 26 tackles for loss, 12 interceptions, 3 return for touchdowns, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2-time team captain in 2 years. So we're going to watch that tape here in just a minute because obviously that kid is possibly one of the big sleepers in our locker room this upcoming year. All right, so everybody knows that LSU has one of the best lineups in the country. They've got 2 of the best pitchers in the country, and this is going to be one hell of a game to watch. As a matter of fact, I was looking at it earlier. It's getting to be like kind of scary, if you want to be honest. Like just how much power, just how much pitching they have, but it's not just them that has power in pitching. We've got it too. And we're going to have a say in this game. And I think this team that's won so many series this year against really solid Big 12 competition has its mojo back. It's got a rising star in Amani Guzman that's really coming on late here. Could be one of the best players in the tournament now and when you need, it's just like any other sport. You need a player to peak at the right time or two. And this is kind of what's happening. So let's get to know LSU, a 46-15 squad. They're going to host this regional, the super regional, at Alex Box Stadium. And like I said, they've got a loaded roster with elite talent, several of whom rank among the best in the SEC and in the nation. And they really have a mixture of potent hitters. They got some on-base machines, dude. They've got some dominant pitchers. And if their key players are playing well, they're almost unbeatable, which is why they're coming off a national championship. And really, should be the favorite in this game. But I've got something to say about that. So players to watch for LSU, and I've spent hours on this today just trying to figure out who is who, what's what. And it's tough from scratch, man. I'm not going to lie. Not keeping up with the season like I should have and everything because of the portal like it was. I mean, we had 55 players in the portal. I could not do anything but that for basically the entire season up until now. But anyways, so I think you have to start with, there's a couple players to start with, but I'll say Ethan Frey, man, designated hitter, 359, insane power, guys. 13 home runs, 49 RBIs on the season, and one of the best glove guys in the SEC. And it's just, He's got a 732 slugging percentage. That's so elite. It's ridiculous. 13 homers, 49 RBIs, like we said. And the regional, he was hot during the regionals. 4 for 4, a home run, a double, 4 RBIs versus Little Rock alone. And he was an all tournament guy. And 438 on base percentage, that's pretty good too. So you got plate discipline going. And he was a clutch player for the Tigers throughout. So he leads them with 29 multi RBI games. So he's a nightmare for pitchers, and nationally, his offensive numbers are in the top tier of hitters and in the SEC. So he's obviously probably number one on the list to look at, if not number two. Derek Curiel is an outfielder that's a 341 average, and he's an on-base machine. Maybe the best leadoff hitter in the SEC. Certainly could possibly even put him into the country talk. I mean, they've got a lot of good players. It's just what it is. 519 on base percentage, leads the nation, guys. And look, only 84 walks. He's got 84 walks. I mean, it's just an incredible number. Plate discipline per days. 79 runs scored are a testament to really his role as the engine of this offense. They want to get him on base. They want to get him over, and they want to get him in, right? He's an incredible base runner. He's got elite speed. And truly, if he gets on base, it services a couple of different things. Obviously, he shortens your pitcher up, right? And also, he's got to consistently worry about the base runner instead of focusing on what's going on at the mound, at the plate. So it's going to be interesting to see here if West Virginia can keep him off base, because he doesn't have a ton of power. He's only got one, and my cat's driving me crazy here. He's only got one home run on the season, but man, his speed and the ability to set the table, 5 triples, the 84 walks, it's going to make him elite. And like I said, his on-base percentage, run scoring, putting him – and he's only a freshman. Guys, by the way, can you imagine this kid in 3 years? He's going to be an absolute nightmare, and probably one of these people you're talking about make serious money in baseball. So he's a standout, obviously. I almost began with him because of these numbers. Jared Jones, the first baseman, that is a power-hitting force of nature and truly one of the best sluggers in the SEC. 20 home runs. That leads the team. And he had 28 last year, by the way. He was one of their best players in last year as well. He's still among the national leaders, but he's in a slump right now where he dropped to number 6 in the lineup for a little bit. I was watching the game. I think it was against Slippery Rock where he was number 6 in the lineup. And he's got a 645 slugging percentage with 60 RBIs. So, he's got some elite production, and he's a solid first base guy, too, with a .986 fielding percentage, which is, almost as good as you can get. So, not perfect, obviously, but in the SEC, he's still a top-tier power hitter. Nationally, home runs are definitely, in the category of what I would consider elite. And in him, he's a Major League Baseball prospect. He's absolutely going to be a guy that gets drafted. So he's, and he's that game-changing bat that can go deep at any point in time, whether he's in a slump or not. So you've always got to be ready for that. Stephen Milam is another one, 285 average, guys. 10 home runs for him, 42 RBIs. He's a really good all-around player, and I wouldn't consider him elite in the SEC or nationally, but, man, that 285, average and 10 home runs, he's balanced at the plate and really solid for a middle-of-the-order guy, middle-of-the-order bat. And defensively, he is very reliable at short. He's got a .985 fielding percentage, 135 assists, and his all-tournament nod probably shows that he's coming on a little bit here. His numbers don't really match the conference's top shortstops, like if you look at the A&M kid or even the Arkansas kid, but still, he's definitely a top 3 short in the league, maybe top 4. And he's only a sophomore as well. This is a young team in some respects, and he's a rising star, and who knows what he'll be by 2026. The catcher, Luis Hernandez. No, not that Luis Hernandez. He's a power-hitting catcher. He's got some real power and torque in that bat. He's a guy that you can load up on though, as he can be a pull hitter at times. But he's still, if you want to talk about a backstop, man, is he really, really good. And 7 home runs. He's only got 68 at bats, 574 slugging percentage. He's all regional though, so another guy that's come on lately, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs versus Little Rock. And look, if you look at what he did last year in Indiana State, 23 home runs, 360 batting average, just elite potential for this guy, and a 994 fielding percentage, which is extremely strong. And look, he's thrown only 6 of 34 base runners out, which is 18%. That could be better, but in the SEC, he's a top tier offensive catcher, and his defensive metrics lag behind maybe 1 or 2 guys in the country. So like, he's right there. You want to talk about pitchers? Good Lord of mercy. Like they have 2 of, you can make an argument, the 2 best. They're better than any duo in the country, besides maybe 1 or 2 other duos. And you look at what Anthony Evanson, Ianson is. His name is hard for me to say. 10-2 with a 2.5 ERA in 16 appearances. And look, he's just flat out one of the best pitchers in the country. Top arm in the SEC. 135 strikeouts, was his 3rd nationally. Across 93.2 innings, are capital E elite. He threw 9 1/3 scoreless. I said a quarter innings in the regional. Getting used to basketball talk, I guess. And then he also had a save versus Little Rock. So he's versatile. Man, the control, he's got elite control. He limits hits, which is a 216 batting average. He's literally the definition of an ace in your pitching lineup. So he is a top 100 in a Major League Baseball draft prospect. And the SEC, like you put him on the same level as like Hagen Smith from Arkansas or Ryan Prager. So, he's likely to probably start game 2. And gosh, this could be a difference maker. Then you think it gets easier, but it doesn't, because Cade Anderson has some of the most filthy stuff in the country. A big right-hander, 9-1 with a 3.28 ERA. And he's the nation's strikeout king, guys. The best pitcher in college baseball, most would say. And it's just the way it is. I mean, 156 strikeouts. Let me say that again. 156 strikeouts. Insane. You can get to him. He's got a 3.28 ERA, although that's good. It's not elite on the ERA side. He is a power pitcher. If you can find him, you can get it out of there. But 11 strikeouts, 7 shutout innings versus Dallas Baptist, which in the regional, I mean, God, what an overpowering pitcher he was in that game. If you haven't seen it, go watch the highlights. It's awesome. And he's obviously the top strikeout guy in the SEC and in the country. Even Mississippi State's Carl Steven, who is a top 5 in Major League draft prospect and as a sophomore, is probably going to start game 1, obviously, and gives LSU a massive edge in this series. Like this is the main reason most people would project him to win this game, honestly. So a couple other guys to look out for them. Zach Cowan, the Wofford transfer, is another good pitcher. I mean, he's a very good reliever. I wouldn't consider him elite, but man, he's really good. He's got 7 saves. They've got Costin Evans, who's 4-1. What an elite freshman reliever he is. One of the best in the SEC. I got 1.96 ERA. And then the team strengths. So the offense is elite. Then you got Frey, you got Curiel, and Jones leading a lineup that has 91 home runs and averages 8.2 runs per game. Insane numbers. And their pitching staff, 2 of the best in the country with the best pitcher in the country. It's just so crazy. And then they've got a deep bullpen. Evans, Cowan, Chase, Shores. So, the only weakness you can really say this team has, and they've got one of the best base runners in the country. As a team, base running is probably their weakness, in my opinion, right? So, on defense. So, for me, that's the only thing you look at with them and say they have a weakness, at least by the numbers. And I haven't watched enough of them to say exactly. But I did a lot of research today. So I think they're ready to shine in the regional, man. And they're going to be a fun team to watch. Unfortunately for them, they're going up against our Mountaineers. And let's talk about that after the break. We'll be right back. This is Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by Monarch Money. Did you know with Monarch Money, you can save money? I know it's a crazy thought. Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. And look, that's where Monarch Money is going to come in for you, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Not just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center where you can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place so you can stop managing your money and start building your wealth. And look, take control of your finances today with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for half off your very first year. It's segment 2. Let's crack a code red dew. I brought it on just for this. Are the LSU Tigers on upset alert? I'm not down on the Mountaineers, Jeff, at all, but there's no reason to lie about what LSU is. You know what I'm saying? If you go up against LSU in the 2019 National Championship game, I would have done the same kind of, this team isn't that good, but I'm just saying, I have to be honest about the team we're facing. That doesn't mean we can't beat them. We absolutely can. We have really good players too. They have more top-end players than we do. Like, we don't have a J.J. Weatherholt this year, who would have been the best player on the field in this game, even in this game, right? But when we don't have a pitcher at the level of, two of the pitchers they have really, we don't have that this year. But I think we have a better, more consistent. I think, if you look at, my cat's up on the chair. I think we can win this. We can win the series. That's just my opinion, but we'll talk about it. I've got my West Virginia breakdown. I've done a lot of research and changed some things because some of the opinions I had about our baseball team have changed over the last couple of days. Some of the opinions that I had that were bad have changed. So, number one, our schedule was pretty weak. And I think that, that caused me to doubt us when we went into that slump like we did. And over the last few games, I've really grown to appreciate the schedule we did play a little bit more. Even though it was weak, you look at some of the series we won, some of the teams we beat, they were still really good, and you won the Big 12 at the end of the day. So not easy to do. I think one thing we can feel really lucky for is we went into a slump at the right time. Come on, honey, get down. This cat's driving me nuts today. But, I think we come out of it at the right time, obviously, with the 2 series wins that we just had. So I'm okay with it. As long as we're out of it for good, there's nothing really else to be worried about, in my opinion. Look, we're 44-14. And although, LSU is riding, coming off a historic season, I think we've set our program record for Big 12 for wins and a Big 12 regular season title. And we've got a balanced offense, a reliable pitching staff, and we're really solid on defense. We have several standout players. And I think if you look at the right players on this list, we absolutely have a way to win this series. And it starts with Sam White as far as hitting goes. 352. He's hitting 352 on the year. One of the best hitters in the Big 12, all first team Big 12 candidate, and 10 home runs, which is tied for the team lead. He's got some power and a 467 on base percentage with 41 runs scored. He's a table setter and run producer. And if you look at the bases loaded walk during the regional final against Kentucky, he's got patience at the plate, but he's also got one hell of a slugging percentage at 581. Very strong. .909 fielding percentage. Mostly he's a DH, isn't really a factor in this. So we're not going to have to worry there. But nationally, his average and on base percentage put him in the top tier of hitters. And in the Big 12, he's on par with like you look at Gavin Cash or maybe one or two of the other guys. Like, and he's been playing injured with that huge bruise he had on his ribs from getting hit. So obviously he's a guy like we need him to come on strong in this series, especially just like we do need our catcher Sabe to come on strong. Logan Sabe hitting 289. He's an all Big 12 player as well this year, and he was second team, but still 289, 8 home runs, and 46 runs scored. Very good offensive contributor, 36 RBIs time with White. So, defensively, he's pretty solid. 976 fielding percentage, and he's caught 15 of 53 base runners. So that's average, maybe a little below average. It's not elite. So, you can run on him, but as far as offensive catchers go, very good calling games. So, what he is not a Carson Bengay or anybody like that, but man, are his numbers good. He's not All-American caliber yet, but I think he's got a chance to be for sure. Like very good player. Unfortunately, he's a senior, but he is a kid that we can really have come on for us. Jace Reinhardt, obviously our infielder, 317 on the year, and he is a run producing machine and truly, some people would say our best player, right? So obviously he was a second team All Big 12 as well. 51 RBIs, which lead West Virginia. He's been clutching some games. The 317 average is very solid. And 5 home runs, on base percentage at 369, which is good. And he's got a perfect 1,000 fielding percentage. That's the thing that stands out the most to me, right? He's a really Golden Glove caliber third baseman. So one of the best defensive infielders in the Big 12 nationally, anywhere you want to look. The RBI total is really good. And, while his offense isn't the top tier, you mix that with his defense, and he's so well-rounded, I think he gets overlooked a lot. But let's get to the player that I think is coming on strong and could be the best player on this team that is ascending to this spot right now, and Armani Guzman. A sophomore is a rising star, 317. He's the all Big 12 potential player. He'll probably be an honorable mention this year. And the 390 all on base percentage right now is strong, but goodness gracious, the speed, 16 stolen bases, dynamic element he can add to our offense. We saw it in the Cleveland Regional. He was 8 for 12 with 6 RBIs. He had the walk-off sac fly. He had 2 homers. So, he's got 2 homers. But the 30 runs scored and all the clutch hitting he's done, man, I think he's really coming on strong right now. And like I said, he also drove in the winning run versus Kentucky. So he's been clutch over and over, and he's gained some confidence right now. Obviously, that 971 fielding percentage is very good. We'll take that. So, he's on the cusp of being elite on a lot of, even on the fielding side of things. I just think, with his speed, his clutch hitting, his fielding, everything he's got going on right now are really, really good. And as a sophomore, rising star. And we can't forget about Kyle West. We all know about him and Kresser and Griffin. And then we all talk about Griffin Kern here in a second. But Kyle West obviously is a power hitting monster, 347 average, 10 home runs, which is tied with the team lead, and 559 slugging percentage, which is second only to White. 7 walks, which was pretty dang good. He could be a little more patient at the plate with a 386 on base percentage. But, defensively, he's right there at 960 fielding percentage. I think he plays corner infield. He'll play outfield a little. But in the Big 12, man, his power numbers put him on the top sluggers in the league, even with a guy like Jake English. And nationally, he's very, very good. He doesn't stack up to the very tippity top. But, man, is he one heck of a player, and we're proud to have him. Glad he could come off the bench the other day and play and do what he did, even though I think it was a sac fly. We talked about Kresser, who is one of the best freshmen in the Big 12. 278 and 4 home runs. He's going to be there. But then you got to get to Griffin Kern. He's our ace, obviously. And, all Big 12 first team, 3.13 ERA, 100 strikeouts, which is the most on our team. He's a workhorse for us. And you have to wonder where he's going to be at. Is he going to start game 1 or game 2? Obviously, that 5-2 record is very consistent. And in 9.5, K rate is pretty strong, right? 18 walks, he could have a little better control, absolutely. But man, in the regional, he had that close over Kentucky after pitching 118 games a couple days before. Pretty damn good. And in the Big 12, he's right there at the very top with anybody else. So, he's got a lot of strikeouts, but he's also got a lot of innings pitched. So you do wonder about his arm. And he's not Cade Anderson, but he could on any given night pitch with Cade Anderson. So, he'll probably start number 1 for us, but I would kind of hope he would start 2. But I know we can't allow Cade Anderson not to be challenged by another ace. So obviously Reese Basinger is our other guy who 7-1 on the year, 4.28 ERA. Is a very good closer and one of the best in the Big 12 in that role. 6.6 K per 9 innings rate is pretty good. He's got 12 walks. He's got pretty good control, so we'll take that. That's in 61 innings, so not too bad. So, he's got to be where he's been, and we need him to close some games out if we're going to have anything to say, because these are going to be, I have a feeling these are either going to be really close or LSU is going to run away with it. Obviously, we talked about Reinhardt's glove. It's going to be really interesting to see how that's tested in this series. But if you're talking about the team component, we're a balanced offense. We average 8.2 runs per game, which is right there with LSU. 498 runs in 58 games. Obviously, White, West, Reinhardt, obviously are pretty much the core of our lineup, with obviously Armani coming up strong as we know right now, and then the pitching staff at a 4.35 team ERA. We need Kern, we need Basinger to anchor our rotation in the bullpen. Unfortunately, outside of those two, you start to drop off a bunch, and that's where the separation is, I think, in these teams. So we've got 44 wins. We would love to have more, and we need our stars to bring that mix of power, consistency, and pitching to the super regional. And we need Reinhardt to stay with that elite glove. And I think we'll be ready to challenge LSU and Baton Rouge. And if you're asking me, I think West Virginia pulls this damn thing off. I really do. I'm not just saying that. I think that, they're not unbeatable. It's not like this is some unbeatable team. We're just going to have to, I think, we're going to have to get game 1. And I think the way we do that is Griffin Kern's going to come out and do what he's done all year, and he's going to pitch one great game. And I think if we can keep LSU, into that 3 to 4 run range, I think we've got a really good shot of winning this game. You don't want to let them pop off and go for 8 or 9 or get up there above their average on the season. So if Kern can pitch like he does, the thing is, though, is if LSU gets 3, now that I'm thinking about this out loud, you think about the ace on the other side, that may be enough for him, right? So it's going to be tough to win the first one, but doesn't mean you're out if you lose. So we'll see how far this thing goes. I think it's double elimination. So we're going to be all right. I want to say this has been fun to cover and learning as we go with it. College baseball is not something that I'm as well, as I've told you guys on here, I'm not as well versed in this as I am the major leagues, obviously. And our baseball program has only really gotten good over the last 7 to 8 years. So, while I've followed it, I haven't followed it like I should. And I've been honest with you guys about that. But I did promise you guys I would cover this, and I did my research today. So I'm trying my best here. We're learning together, and I'm excited, man. We're going to see this team pop off, I think. No reason they can't do it. LSU fans, thank you so much for being respectful in the chat. Thank you so much, guys. Baton Rouge Raven and others, Kujanomics. Hit that subscribe button if you guys don't mind. I know you guys may not watch too much West Virginia football, but we talk about a lot of West Virginia basketball and football on here, if you don't mind, anyways. And I appreciate you guys for being in here. I'll obviously be covering the game over the next few days and everything as that plays out. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, game one is going to be so pivotal in this series, and you could probably make a case for whoever wins game one to win the series. But other than that, I'm ready to move on here. I got a couple news and notes on the football side that I need to get to really quick. So thank you to the LSU fans, though, for coming in here and being so decent. Appreciate you guys. You guys were as classy as you were in 2011 when we seen you guys in Morgantown for a game some of us Mountaineer fans would like to forget. But nonetheless, you guys are awesome. So we'll be right back, guys. On the other side of the break, we're going to talk about some football news and notes, and we're going to show Will Davis. We'll be right back. All right, we are back here, Locked On West Virginia. Thank you guys for joining in for this one. This has been fun. Thanks for allowing me to talk a little baseball. And I'll tell you what, man, this has been a wild time for the baseball squad for sure. They are making a lot of West Virginia fans proud, and I think turning a lot of West Virginia fans into baseball fans, maybe people that weren't fans before. So that's always great. It's kind of like not to the same level, but kind of like that Caitlin Clark effect where you got a kid like we did last year and JJ Weatherholt that was so well known nationally. I think a lot of people came around then. Obviously, what Maisie built helped with that. But yeah, absolutely, man. Just this team being good multiple years in a row, getting to the super regional is bringing us all around to this. And I think it's fun to be a baseball fan. The games are fun to watch in college, especially, not as many low scoring games in college as the major leagues. That's for sure. Get down, honey. She just won't leave me alone, man. Driving me nuts. All right, so let's get on to some news and notes. Some things that I think I just hadn't gone over with you guys yet. So what we're going to talk about really quick is actually I'm at 32. We're going to go ahead and pass up on this. I'll do it tomorrow. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the Will Davis thing really quick. Just want to pivot. Oh, well. It was just going to talk about what it was going to be. It was the positional eligibility breakdown. I had some people message me and ask me about that, where certain people were. So I had that all worked out. Who's got what left? Like Jalen Henderson's a senior, Nico's a junior, that kind of thing. So we'll get to that next time. Tomorrow I'll push it in. I'll put it in one of the segments. Yep, 7 days a week, Raven. That's right. We're here 7 days a week. I think I've missed 2 days since October, maybe 3. No, 3 or 4. 4. Sorry. I forgot I went to the hospital. But as far as just not recording and being at home, I think 2. All right, let's get to Will Davis here. Will Davis is a player that West Virginia picked up. What's up, Coos? Out of Virginia Union. And whenever you look at his stat line from college, it's kind of mind-blowing. 126 tackles, 26 tackles for loss, 12 interceptions, 3 interceptions returned for touchdowns, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 2-time team captain into your starter. So what I'll say here is obviously you take it with a grain of salt because of the competition. Nobody's going to sit here and pretend like the competition's elite or anything like that. But what I will say is there are good players at this level. And he performs so above and beyond what anybody could, you would think at this level that, he's obviously a good player. He's just a little undersized. I think that's the main reason he hasn't been picked up before in his past. And just watch some of the plays this kid makes. He's a very good corner. And from what I remember from watching this tape, he does it with his brain as much as anything else. All right, let's get to it. All right, here he is playing in the slot, it looks like. And that's just, a simple that was another one of those heady plays that he makes. And as you can see, he's got some speed to get to the end zone. And that's like a 97-yard pick six right there. Pretty good start. Pretty good start. Here he is again. And you can kind of see who he is right here. This is what I'm talking about. The things like this. What an incredible play on his part. Like he's dropped back in his zone. This isn't anything to do with his responsibility, really. I mean, yes, is he supposed to come up and make the play? Yes, absolutely. But like, really, this backer should be here more than anything. But watch how quickly he realizes what the play is, and then somehow runs. I mean, if you just take it this way, that's for he's at least 8 yards away. And actually, since it's diagonal, you could probably say 10, right? So he runs 10 yards. And obviously, what do you never do? What's the one rule they tell quarterbacks? You never throw it late and over the middle, right? Well, this quarterback breaks both of those rules. Not only does he throw it late, rolling right, back over the middle, it's he throws it really late, which is a lot. This is why this happens every time. That almost every time it gives a guy like him the possibility to do this, and which is return one for a tutty. Looked like he hurt his hamstring there. That was weird looking. Nice tackle on defense and a forced fumble. Yeah, he's just a playmaker. Here he is coming off the edge. Hey, holy cow. I don't think I've seen this one. This tape, I was already thinking a minute ago, I must have watched a different tape on him. I mean, I'm sure he's got a lot of different ones, but I mean, how often do you see a nickel bull rush a running back into the quarterback? Very odd. I mean, this is a straight on bull rush. Like this is no different than a pass rusher up against uh, a guard or a tackle. I mean, the sizes are different, but I mean they're about the same size, and he just destroys this kid. I mean, it's like a grown man against a kid. Watch this kid's whiplash. That's impressive, man. I mean, I get it. It's not like he's a left tackle, but I mean, to be able to ragdoll a grown man like that, crazy. All right, here he is in coverage again, and just look at how he undercuts these balls, man. He's just so good at that, and obviously he's watching the quarterback's eyes. He sees the route the receiver has made here, or tight end in this case, and all he does is just angle it out. He outruns it. He goes underneath. Very, very good, though. Now, you can see why he's got the 12 interceptions. At this level, he was too smart and already better athlete than everybody else. That's just what it was. I mean, that's pretty much what it is, right? Look at him here. He just outruns the pursuit. Or I mean, he outruns the blocking pursuit. Up top, same thing again. It's the same thing on both plays. He's just a little faster than everybody he's playing against, right? Basically, he's a Division I player playing against. I don't even know. I guess these are considered FCS players, but I mean, I even think some of these guys are on the low end for FCS, which is why you see him just run straight by this kid, but didn't even get his hands on him. And barely. So pretty interesting. Here he is again. You see him playing. That's odd, man. So in this defense, he's playing. So corner. So yeah, it just looks like. So it looks like he's playing in backer spot, but he's really playing nickel safety here, or nickel corner. There he is again, undercutting these routes. He's one heck of a player, man. He said, nope. Great pursuit. He's just a football player. Here he goes again. Very good. Very good, man. Will Davis, 126 tackles, 26 tackles for loss, 12 interceptions, 3 return for touchdowns. Is very impressive. We can't watch all this, but definitely want to give him his props. He deserves it. Now, on this play, he absolutely engaged with the blocker and just beat him, right? That's what gives you hope for him at this level is he's obviously functionally very strong for his size. And at this level, he's not going to be blocked easily, you would think. Or at least based on this, he would be it's something he would probably catch on to really quick. So, and he's going to have practice at it. I mean, a lot of the receivers West Virginia brought in were 6 feet tall or more. So, he's going to have some great practice against some blockers for sure. Oh, this is going to be a hit. Nope. Oh, interception. Oh, okay. Jersey colors are so similar. This is another pick six. No. He was thinking about it, though, for sure. Once again in the slot, he just absolutely dusts by everybody and makes a sack. So, then you get the gist. I think he's a football player and a guy that not a lot of people are talking about right now. But let's see what happens come camp time, because I think he's a name that we could be hearing by the time into camp. I've got the pen at the ready for when Rich Rod starts doing press conferences again. We're going to keep track of who gets talked about, if any. I mean, in this day and age, you think that maybe nobody because everybody's worried about poached, but like the portal can't open again. So I can't stop her. She just wants to do what she's going to do. All right, guys. I appreciate you for joining in. I'm way over, but it's a bonus stream anyway. So I appreciate y'all. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, and for being part of the Locked On podcast where we talk about your team every single day, 7 days a week, baby. And check out that portal report when you get time for your second listen, because Brian Smith has the latest rumors, portal entries, and signings, and you can be the most informed fan on the rapid changes to the college football landscape. Find Portal on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. All right, guys, have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'm out.